What is going on, everyone, and welcome to another episode of ToyShopFab. And on this video, we give this truck something it hasn't had since I've owned it. Rear brakes. Yep, that's right. This truck has not had rear brakes since the first day I've owned it. Never hooked them up. The truck had this big old nasty rear end in it, and it is a 8-lug, kind of like something you would. It was used to haul, right? This truck was a fleet truck, has gnarly springs in it. This was the workhorse of the fleet back in 58, 59 when this truck was produced. And well, it's kind of hard to get parts for, right? This big thing. I'm sure you could, but it might take a little while. And a couple videos ago, we upgraded the rear axle in this truck to something you would find in kind of a 2005 GMC or Chevrolet Classic. I think it 2005, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9. I think they called it the Classic because it had drum brakes, right? Most vehicles now, they have disc brakes all the way around, but that truck, or this axle here, this 10 bolt, came in that truck with drum brakes. Now, when we swapped out this rear axle and put it in this old pickup truck, these drums, the factory drums were originally frozen. I knocked them off with a hammer and found that there was, all the insides were destroyed because somebody liked to do power brakes. If you don't know what that is, it's when you stomp on the brake pedal really hard and also mash on the gas pedal at the same time. And usually you can overcome the rear drum brakes in these things and do big, long burnouts. Unfortunately, this is an open diff, so you only had the single tire of fire. The one-wheel peel is what you would call it. And it completely just destroyed the back brakes in this thing. See, there is no shoe left. There's no pad, no brake left on that guy there. It is all completely gone. This one's really, really thin. That wheel cylinder had leaked all the fluid out, I'm assuming, all over the place because it is no good as well. And here is the spring on those that would hold those together, which is much, much different than you would find in older style drum brakes. We also went ahead and just got a new one of these drums as well. I bought a complete kit for under 250 bucks, I believe. From what I've done on this side, it fits extremely well on this axle, so I will put a link to that in the description. That way, if you guys come across, you guys have something like that, you want to upgrade or whatever. So far, everything fits really, really well. It came with the wheel cylinder, brake shoes, and hardware. All for under 200. Yeah, wheel cylinder, brake shoes, hardware, and the drum, all for under 250 bucks, and that is a good deal. So. And it all fits really, really nice. But now let's show you what it all looks like in here, because some of you may not have seen something like this before. Some of you are used to seeing the older style drum brakes where your adjuster is down here on the bottom where the spring is there. You got springs on another little big old pin that sits up here. You got a spring that goes here to here, here to here, a cable that goes up and around to another cable down here with a spring down here, adjuster down here. Those pins that sit here to help secure our shoes to the backing plate and everything. You can see this does not have any of that. This has this one big spring that holds all of that together. Your adjuster sits up here. Your parking brake or emergency brake runs behind the back there, secured with this pin, and then you have your little clicker thing or your retainer for your adjuster here, and it gets held together with that one spring there, right? It is a very clean, very simple looking setup, but I will tell you that this spring right here, she'll fight you, okay? Of course, the old one was easy to come off because, like I said, I think someone liked to do big, long burnouts, and well, this spring, yes, it is probably 20 years old. Might be a little weak, but it's also really, really flat in comparison to the new one. Matter of fact, let's hop over to the other side and I'll show you guys what I mean. We'll put this spring next to the old one and show you what that looks like. And just remember too, always leave one side together, right? It doesn't matter how you tear the one side apart. You can have parts scattered all over the floor, but as long as you leave one side put together, you've always got a roadmap on how everything goes back. But anyways, let's get over there to the other side, show you what we got. All right, here is our new spring there. You can see nice shiny black. Now you can pay attention to how far this guy sticks up, because this is what kind of helps retain everything and has its kind of spring. The way it sits is what helps keep these in place without the use of the spring on the pin that usually sits in the center here on the older style. This little div, the way this is up here, when you push it in, or the way it rolls in or gets snapped into our backing plate, is the force it uses to apply against these arms here to hold our shoes in place, as well as the tension it has to keep our pads together. So place our old one on top of here. You can see the difference in width and how everything sits. You can see our old one is a little more spread out, and actually this guy here too does not stick as high up as this one, so it had a little less holding tension for our shoes up against our backing plate. But there is what they look like together. And here's what it looks like in our drum. You can see how dirty this is. Matter of fact, if you get up here, you'll see it's kind of this little hook right here is what that hoop snaps into, and it helps create the sideways pressure or the inward force that holds those drums against the backing plate. Here's our old wheel cylinder. You can see here's that one spring there. Here's our little adjuster with this guy here, our little clicky thing. Helps keep it from back spinning. And you can see this guy here too also has very little pad left on the shoes. Matter of fact, this front one is almost gone as well. So I'm going to get you in the stand, get you up close and personal with this so you can kind of watch what it is that I was doing or how I take it apart. You said it doesn't really matter how you take it apart. You can grab a hold of it and just have parts flying all over the place. We've got the co-pilot side over there done, so we have a roadmap on how everything goes back together. But I'm just going to get you in the stand, get you up close here, and show you what it is I did to take it apart and kind of the steps I took to put this thing all back together. So here we go. All right, got you all set up on the stand. Gonna get you in here, kind of show you what, I mean, it's fairly self-explanatory, fairly simple. Grab yourself some vice grips. You can grab either this end right here or this end right here. Basically, I just want to pull this spring off, just like that. Get it out of the way. This will allow me to get this little adjuster guy off out of the way as well. And I like to see, because it's held in place by everything now, can we, oh yeah. So you can obviously see now that this guy is freed up. And I just want to run him in a little bit. Take some of the tension off the spring. There we go. And you can see it's starting to, yep. Yeah, I can start to run it in by hand. That's really good. That'll make clean up a little easier later. And it's nice to know this thing isn't all froze up. Alright, got him out of the way. Now, the only thing holding our brake pads or our brake shoes in is this big spring right here. So you can grab a regular screwdriver and just kind of really fast, it'll spring out just like that. Do it again on the other side, and that should release the tension on our shoes. And now you can see they will slide right out. I'll go ahead and get this string up out of the way. See how easy that came up, because this guy here is pretty flat in comparison to our new one. So If we were to do a side-by-side, I don't know if you can kind of see how much farther up this guy sticks than this one. So it did lose some of its spring. Age, massive burnouts. I'm not 100% sure, but we do have a new one and it is getting replaced. So now here comes to the other part. And that is our parking brake or our emergency brake. The cable down at the end. See if I can get this up and out where you guys can see. So that end of our cable is inside here. And if you can get down inside, I don't know if you can, camera kind of picks it up. Oh yeah, I can see it. There's this little spring clip here. And if you push on it, you see it moves. So what you want to do is grab your e-brake cable and you can pull it through. Now the easiest way to do this on a truck that has these cables hooked up is to get underneath and disconnect it from your pedal, your e-brake pedal. That way it gives you room to move this around. That just makes life a little bit easier. If you can get it disconnected from up there, it allows you to pull this out, line it up with that little spring, use a screwdriver or a punch, push down, and it should pull right out. If it doesn't, that's no big deal. There's this little lip right here. Get your little screwdriver in there and just kind of open this up a little bit. And that will allow you to move that spring, push this guy down to clear the fork. Whoops. There we go. And pull it right through the spring. So, and just leave it in there for right now. Here's what our old shoe looks like. There's our arm spring. Give you a close-up of that little spring in there. You can see when the cable comes through this end here, gets passed through the end of the spring there, all the way up. It goes up underneath this guy here and slides right across the top of this spring right here. See if I can push it down. Boom. When it goes past, it clicks. Spring pushes the end up in here, captures the ball right there. So this guy is junk. We'll go ahead and get him out of the way. Our other guy out of the way. And then make sure our cable still snaps. It's an old cable. I might have to replace it, but she'll do just fine for right now. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, she's just a little weak. We can get something in there and push our little prongs back up out of the way. See if we can get a little more life out of this thing. Oh. There we go. Here's one. There's two. We'll go ahead and leave it out right now. That way it's not in our way when we go to clean this off. But next thing I want to remove is our wheel cylinder here. Now on the back of that wheel cylinder are little inverted Torx bolts. And if you're wondering what size that is, this one is, see if I can get to, there we go, E8. So there's our Torx. Go ahead and get this removed real quick. I already have the brake line removed from the wheel cylinder itself. That was done when we did the swap. So here's one of our little bolts. See what I mean by the inverted Torx? It's kind of like a backwards Torx, upside down Torx. Instead of using a Torx bit Now you got to use like a Torx socket. So go ahead and put him in that little pan. Get the other guy out of there. And there we go. So, wheel cylinder is out. That is junk. We'll put that right there. Hardware over there. Now that we got everything out of the way, I'm just going to take this little guy real fast, scrape some of the big stuff out of it, push this guy out because our kit comes with a new one of these. And that's so you can get a screwdriver in the back there against our adjuster and adjust the shoes out where you have just a little bit of drag on our drum. So it did come with new ones. Matter of fact, there is a bunch of them, but it only came with 2, and I figure this is the most important one. So I got a screwdriver. I'm just going to go ahead and chip off some of the big stuff. Then hit it real quick with a wire wheel. Make sure all these pads are cleaned up. Rebuild it. And then we'll go ahead and get set up for our new brake hardware. So time lapse now. Look at this guy. All right, so we got our backing plate all cleaned up. I hit it with the wire wheel. Got everything. Got most of the big junk, the dirt, grime, all that knocked off. Cleaned up our pads too. Put grease on them as well. I've also went ahead and just installed this guy here last night. Just reverse, put the E8 little reverse Torx, upside down Torx, backwards Torx, whatever you call them. Just snug those up. That way I could put our brake line back on and have that ready. It wasn't sitting open all night. But here's what we got. You can see everything's been cleaned up. We hit it with some paint. Put grease on all our pads. So now all of that is good to go. What I'm going to do now is hand you off to Seth. He's going to do some recording. Now getting it apart, that's pretty easy. The putting it back together is a little bit more challenging, especially with that new spring. So go ahead and hand you off to Seth. He's going to record. I'm going to show you guys how I did the other side. The easiest way I found to. So here you go. All right, bud. Now, see, here is our new spring. Now, I did hold on to the old spring, and I say that for a reason because I'm going to show you why. This makes it a little bit easier, especially because you got these hooks here. And that is strong because you're going to want to get up underneath this little lip here and pull it. That way you can get your new shoe in place. So hold on to that. That does help with the reassembly process. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and get that guy out of my way. Now, if you get in here, you're going to see, we'll go ahead and get this guy out of the way. If you look in here, whoops, this spring, all right, see this little lip right here? Mm-hmm. Okay, now this is where this guy is going to want to go. So, and you're going to see these guys, you're going to want to sit over this as well. There we go, just like that. So you can see it doesn't really want to pop on. You can use like a screwdriver, like this guy. This is just a flathead screwdriver. Get up on top there and kind of push in. And you see it wants to kind of spring right back out. See how that works? See how it's kind of like if you let up, spring back out. So what I did was I got something there and kind of get myself in a position where I could use my leg to help keep tension on that guy. So you see that on my knee, just kind of holding it up. Grab another bar, because you're going to want to get this guy knocked down into that place. So grab another bar, and you can see she snapped right into place. So if you can use your screwdriver here to kind of help hold the pressure in place, grab yourself another screwdriver, punch, or bar. This is an old bar, I don't remember what it's from, but just something that I made. Use it as a tool now. I got up on top and just smacked the edge here so it would be pushed down back into our hook. So now you see our springs are good and tight against our backing plate. So now, that was basically the trickier, the trick I got for installing that spring, and as you see, it works pretty well. Now, next is this guy here. Now you're gonna know, here's our arm, or for our e-brake. It comes pre-attached already, which actually makes life pretty darn simple. What you're gonna want to do is pull. This is why I say it's easier to disconnect this from your pedal, or a little three-way, like a little splitter up on the frame rail. That way you can pull this out. It just makes life a little bit easier, but you're gonna want to sit it right through the spring. And you see here, if you get in close, see that little clip, just like on our old one? Mm-hmm. Push that guy. You're gonna see, whoops. There we go. Come on. She's wanting to. Should have that little freaking thing that says 4 hours later. But the other side was much easier. You just want to try to get it so you can pull it through. There it goes. Boom. So that spring, this one's a brand new spring. It's really tight, holds that guy up in the place, and that's how it should look when you've got your cable reinstalled. And this guy spins around just like this. You want to push your spring. If you look up in here, there's a little keeper. See it? Yep. Okay. Basically just push that so your spring goes back where it goes in there. That guy sits up in place. As you can see, I've got the cable on the wrong side of our spring. So, there we go. It's good to pay attention to that. Alright. So now our spring's back in place. Now here's the tricky part, and this is why I say hold on to your old spring, because it is strong. And you can get up underneath this little lump right here. You see that this little guy here? Mm-hmm. You can take it, put that in there, and that's going to help pull this. Now, on the bottom, come on, there you go. There's a little spot where that guy sits. See right here? Bottom of your shoe sits in this guy. That's the guide. And as of right now, let's see. You want to look in here. Now it's just holding our brake into that plate, because you're going to want to use this spring now too. Get up underneath there. You want to line up your shoe with your wheel cylinder, just like that. Okay, so get up in here. Put this guy back where it came from. That guy goes there. Make sure this guy lines up here. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, phone down. All right. Pick this guy because you're gonna want him in there, just like that. And see. Oops. Boom. So that guy is in place. You see it snap in. Mm-hmm. I still have to reset everything though, which is fine, but it just slid down. So just go ahead and smack her back up into place. Everything is where it needs to be. So now our spring is in here, but that's why that spring is extremely tough, and that's why it's good. That's why I say just hold on to your old one. It is strong enough to help with the assist, basically. So now we got that. Let's go ahead and put this other guy in place. You see how tight it holds that? Like on the older ones, they have the spot here where the pin comes through our plate. Where the pin would come through the plate, probably somewhere in about this area right here. Comes through to a little hole that's in our pad or our shoe. Has a little cup, a spring, and another cup. You got to push in, twist the pin. It helps hold it to the backing plate. This spring takes care of both the end, holding the shoes in and against the plate. And it's really, really tough. So, but there's one shoe. Make sure our spring is where it needs to be. Yep, there. That's good. Make sure that guy's right there. So that's good. Everything is about how it's supposed to be in place. This little guy is where it needs to be. Yep. And this guy. Yeah. So, cool deal. Now, second one. Same. Get him lined up. Just want to watch your fingers. Okay, so that's sitting down where it's supposed to be. That guy's where it's supposed to be. Let's see if I can get this guy over. That. Whew, she's in. She's in. So, you can see how much of a pain that spring can be. And that's, so it is good. A nice little pry bar. The ability to use your knee as a third hand. You know what I'm saying? All right, so now that we got that in place, the next thing I need to do is we have our adjuster. Now our adjuster's been clean. When you pull this out, are you doing this kind of brakes? There's this end right here. This big old fat end goes against the side with our e-brake cable. If you pull it apart and clean it, as I did here, you can see it's got plenty of grease. There is this little guy here. Make sure you put him back. What it does, I'm not 100% sure. I just know it was on it when it came apart. And this is our threaded end. And it is a left-handed thread. So tight or loosening, normal would be tightening. Tightening is loosening. All right, it's backwards from what you've been taught. This is lefty tighty, righty loosey. So put this guy back in place. This end here is the end that goes on our e-brake. And it's cool because when it's fully adjusted inwards, go ahead and slide it back behind your brake shoe there. You see that? Yep. Grab your bar, because now you can move this. Let's see if I can get my hands to a position where you can kind of see, hold it up in there. And you can just push your shoe out. Boom. Just enough to clear. And now our adjuster is in place. Go ahead and put that guy back over there. There we go. Okay, so that guy is also in place now. Second piece is this guy. He's also been hit with a wire wheel. All it does is sit in there. It hooks on this pin, just like that. Our new kit came with a spring. Grab your vice grips. Bite just the very end. Put this guy in there just like so. And, oops. Okay. Get a hold of it in a way where you can get your vice grips in there and see. So, boom. Hooks up just like that. Right? And that's it. Our brakes are now assembled. Go ahead and grab our drum. See if we need to do any initial adjustment. Basically, drum brakes, you just adjust out to where they slightly touch. And that's good. Like I said, I'll put the link to this stuff in the description. This cost me less than 250 bucks, and everything seems to fit pretty darn good. Go ahead and throw that guy on there. Help center up your shoes. Here's a neat little thing too, in case you guys didn't know. If you've got your old set of drums and you're trying to, they're being a pain, right? You can't get them off because you need to do your brakes. If you didn't know, these drums right here, see this? Mm-hmm. That's so you can put a bolt. It's metric. I forget the thread pitch, but you put a bolt in here, and you just tighten it against it. And what it does is it pushes against your axle flange on the inside there. Just do a little bit at a time. That drum will pop right off. So everything feels pretty good. Our brake shoes do have just a slight rub. Might be a little off center. Oh yeah, no, we're good. So yeah, they're barely touching. So that's good. I'll go ahead and clean up the inside of this guy here. Yeah, you see slightly rub. Go ahead and hit it with some brake clean. Throw this thing on the truck. Get everything bolted up. And we'll be back to bleed the brakes. All right, drum's been cleaned up, pads, all our shoes, everything on the inside, everything's been cleaned up, wiped off. You see our drum has been installed, went ahead and painted it to match the other one. So now the next thing I need to do, I've already gone ahead and I bled the co-pilot side of the truck. We have fluid to that wheel cylinder, it got all the air out of it. And I did that first by starting off using this guy right here. This is an old vacuum pump I bought many, many years ago. And it just goes basically to the back. Get you up in here so you can see, to the bleeder on the back. Go ahead and we can use our little wrench. Let's get in here. Put our little wrench on there. All I did was take it. Oops. I can get it cracked. There we go. Get that guy opened up. You can see the fluid we got coming out. Hit the button on our pump. You can see it pulling fluid. Now I did that until I got fluid coming to our wheel cylinder. Once I do that, I prefer the traditional method of pump the brakes and crack it. So pump it up for me, Seth. Hold it. All right, and you can see all the fluid, see all the air we still got in there. The way the vacuum pump works, it has a little bit, draws a little bit of air. So I've used the pump to pull fluid to the wheel cylinders and then bleed it the traditional way. Go ahead, pump it up. A little bit of air. We'll do it one more time. Go ahead, bud. I don't know if you can hear the brake shoes moving now. Oh yeah. One more time for good measure. Oh yeah. And we are good to go, and you can see by our line here, there is no air in the fluid coming out of it anymore. So we got all the air out of our system. And I hear our shoes functioning like they're supposed to. Let's see here. If I can do this one-handed, Go ahead. Oh yeah, we got brakes. Let up. Yep, I can see our drum moving and everything. I have the wheel attached to the other side. Okay. All right, our brakes are bled, drums have been installed, wheels are on the truck, truck is on the ground, and we are one step closer to getting this thing out on the highway and testing those brakes. But before I want to do that, before I test the stopping power of this pickup truck, I need to install, we need brake lights, right? We need to let people know that we are stopping, so. Now, simple thing would be is, well, you can have running lights, brake lights. That is the simplest way to do it because we got hand signals. We can always go that route. Or we could run multiple lights, like two, instead of like the single. These trucks have this little single pod right here. It's got a running light and a brake light. Now, I could do something, a little trick, maybe add another little light off to the side. We can run the blinkers too and all that stuff. But what I want to do is keep the original taillights on this truck. And it's a dual filament bulb, but I want to use the brake lights and the blinkers, running lights all out of the same bulb and all working at the same time. And that might be a little tricky. Now, I originally wanted to wire in a little box in this truck, and I actually did wire it in. And I was super excited. I wanted this thing to work because it would have made things a little bit simpler for a lot of people. But because I want to keep going a little bit above and beyond, I overloaded that little box and I smoked it. So, long story short, it's good for motorcycles, not so much cars. Now, you could probably wire it into a car as long as you only used one light per wire on that. Don't try to get creative with some halo lights and stuff like that because you're just going to burn up the box. So I kept it old school, and we're going to use relays to help us control our brake lights and turn signals that are operating at the same time. I'm going to show you guys how I did that. So we're going to get in here, and this is what I got set up. So I've got them laid out on the floor, right? This setup here, I've actually got a much smaller fuse relays that I plan on using. But for demonstration purposes, I went ahead and just put all these together, and I have them labeled here. You got left front, left rear, right front. And I've got these wires kind of sprawled out here just to kind of show you guys what I did. So we've got all those relays plugged together. They're all plugged in, and we just have the wires twisted together. These are the grounds, which is like number 85 on those relays. And I have them twisted together because that's what you want. I mean, all the ground's going to go straight to ground, to your body ground. So however you want to mount it, you put eyelets on there, and then when you hang the relays or something on a body panel like that, everything is grounded. Pin 30, let's see here. Let me grab a relay that's got numbers on it so you can see. There we go. See, get it to focus. Okay, so we got 87. Our center pin is 87A. This is pin 30, and then you have 85 and 86. Now, 85 and 86 are the wires you're going to use to switch the relay on or off. These can be any like smaller gauge than these wires so you don't get them confused, because the cool part about these two pins is they don't see the load that travels through this relay. This relay is only used to help trigger whatever it is you're trying to power up, and that load is carried through these pins right here and not these pins. These are just switch pins, so keep that in mind if you need to run smaller gauge wires. Now you have 4-pin and 5-pin. As you can see here, the 4-pin one is just missing 87A, right? That one's not there. But I like 5 pins because it gives me the option. And in this case here, with our brake lights and all that stuff, the 5-pin comes in handy. And I'm going to show you how that is. Now, our power in for this is going to be 87. That is our power in. And that's what I have sitting right here. This flasher is for demonstration purposes. This wire is your key on power that I have set up for demonstration purposes. So you want to run your power to the battery side, usually marked with a B, I believe, on flashers. Let's see if I can get in here and look at it. Yep, if you look down in there, you'll see, nope, not a B. That is like an X. But there is a load side and a power side of a flasher, so keep that in mind. The load side is usually marked with an L, I believe. Let's see here. Yep, if you look in there, there should be an L. Let me just unplug that. Okay, so this is a flasher I got from the local auto parts store, and there you got L. So L is the load side. This is the battery side. Now you want the relays connected to the load side of your flasher. If you have it backwards, it won't flash. So, like I said here, this is just key on power. I just have it stuck in there just for demonstration purposes. Kind of hard to do with one hand. You know what? I'm going to recruit that guy right there. He's back there listening to me explain this. So let's get him in here, see if he can retain some of this as well, and do some recording for me. So, you ready, bud?
Sure.
All right. So here's our relay. Like I said, this is the battery side. That is the load side. This wire is only hooked up for demonstration purposes. Okay, so don't ridicule me. Or ridicule me, whatever. Put it in the comments. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. And then the L is the load side. So we're going to go ahead and just hook that up to the load side. Right there. Now, I've been using my power probe to kind of trigger these wires to see how everything goes. I love this tool. This is like a must-have for anybody that does electronics or any kind of electrical work for diagnosing or just figuring how things work, basically. Testing, stuff like that. But so, my key is off, and you can see there is no power here. Key's on, so now we have power to the battery side of our flasher, and power is to the outside, to the load side of our, as you can see there, 11.5, 11.4. So we have power to the input side of our relays. Now pin 30 is the out. As you can see, there is no out. Good. There's no out, no out, no out. Now, 85 and 86, whichever one you want. The pigtails, usually when you buy the relays, they have different color wires. I happen to buy these in bulk, so they all come same, but you can see they're different colors, so I'll mix them up. But 85, using this relay right here, because these numbers are clear. So, 85, 86. One of these is a power, one of these is a ground. You can pick whichever one, but whichever ones you have as a ground, go ahead and loop all those together, and you're going to use them. They're going to attach to the body ground or up there on your little hanging brackets. Just make sure that these are grounded for this situation. Now your two, left front, left rear, right front, right rear, you're going to take the positive switching wires, so 86, you're going to twist those together. So the right side, twist those together, left side, twist those together. Now 30, which is the outside of these, which is the power out wire, which is pin number 30. Left front, this goes to my left front blinker. Left rear, so yep, this goes to my left rear blinker, and so on. So like this is my right rear blinker, this is my right front blinker. Now the left rear and right rear, we have left the two, which is 87A wires on our 5-pin relay. We removed them from the outside, from our front relays, left them in the rear because if you can apply power through 87A and it will come out pin 30. Now, if you go back, let's see here. So this is my brake switch that I have from up front. You see, we got no power. Hit our brake, we have power. So we take these two center wires, which are 87A, twist those together. Take your power wire from your brake switch, connect them to those two center pins of your relays, which is now going to let you send power through here and out here to your brake light. So I'm going to try to do this so you can hear me. So we have, you hear that? We got green, there's no power. Hit a brake. Now we have power going through it. Matter of fact, go back there and you can see our brake lights. Yeah?
Yep.
Alright. Brakes off.
Yeah.
Okay. Now come back up here. Now that we have that, went through there and it's not, and I'm going to use this just to power them up again, and you're going to listen. I'll turn this guy off too so you can't hear it. But we're going to power him up and you're going to notice that by the red light. Do you hear anything?
No.
Nope. Because we're just sending power through the pin out here and it's not activating the relay whatsoever. Now this, you're going to hear a click. Hear it?
Yep.
Because this is the power wire. These two are going to get the signal from your turn signal switch. I would hook that up for demonstration purposes, but this one in this truck is broken, and I didn't find that out till just a little while ago. So we're using our power probe. But left front, left rear are turned together, and as you can see on the wall there, the reflection, our blinker is working. Now if you go to the back, you're going to see that blinker working as well. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. Now, here's the neat thing, because we have the way, go ahead and stay back there. I'm going to show you here. I'm going to go ahead and just power up the other blinker. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So, blinker's working. Now, here's what I'm going to do. You see our brake lights?
Yeah.
Brake lights are on. Now I'm going to power our blinkers.
Got it.
Okay, that'd be the left blinker, correct?
Yep.
That's the pilot side there of the vehicle. Brake lights on, blinker is working. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go to the other side. Yep.
Yep.
Now, if I wanted to wire in flashers with my brake lights on, we're going to do that right now just to kind of simulate that. What are we doing?
Hazards.
Yeah. So, brake lights off, everything is off, correct?
Yep.
All right. So, come on up. So you see, and now we are, all of that is being controlled just by simple wires. I mean, your headlights, your wires, and all that stuff, that's real simple to run through our headlight switch. I wired that up already. I've been doing a lot of this off camera. Like our red is a constant power, and that will send power out to our headlights. The blue on this one here is a key on power, which only sends power to the running lights when the key's on. And then we have orange, brown for our running lights. I believe this one is for dash lights. The one thing that can get a little tricky is for blinkers and brake lights running on the same bulb. That can get a little tricky. You can always add other lights and help make that a little bit simpler, but to keep things nice and simple and just keep the original taillights on this truck, I wanted to run it this way, and that is how I did it. And I hope I explained it so it's it's understandable, like not too much information thrown in there. Just for a rundown again, we have a 5-pin relay. I like these. I buy these by the box. And we have 87. There we go. See, 87, 87A, 30. So power in, power out. You can, and 85 and 86 are our trigger wires. So Then these relays can be triggered by either positive or negative, like positive like you've seen here for our blinkers, or when if you're using this in a electric fan setup up front using one of those thermostat controlled sending units that go into your water jackets or your water port on the side of the head. Those are ground, so you can run your power in here and 86. Run those two wires together so this wire constantly has power, and then when your little thermostat switch gets to the whatever temperature sets it off, it'll send the ground here, which will activate your switch, allowing power to go from here to here out to your electric fan. A lot of information, but real simple. Just remember the numbers. They're always on the side here. I'll even put a link to another guy on YouTube, a video that actually taught me all this. I keep it on hand because sometimes the numbers just kind of, if you don't do it all the time, it's good for a little refresher. I'll go ahead and put that link in the description because he does a really good job of explaining it. And it's one of my favorite videos to help keep things simple. So, but that's how I'm going to set this up. Like I said, this is just for demonstration purposes. I'm going to go ahead and get all these wires undone, clean up all my little mess here. Get my relays mounted up underneath our fuse box. Get that stuff all buttoned up where I want it. And then hopefully by that time when we come back, we'll go ahead and throw some carpet in this thing, get the seat reattached, take this thing out on the road, and just see how our brakes work. So it's going to take me a little bit, but for you guys, just be a sec. So be right back. All right. Wiring is tucked up out of the way for right now, or at least good enough. There are still a few little things I want to add to this pickup truck. And once I've got them and I've got everything finished, all wired up, I'll go ahead and wrap the wires, get everything tucked up out of the way where it's supposed to, and you can't see them. But while I'm waiting on parts like that, we've got to keep moving on this truck because we are running out of time. So here's what I've got. I got all the junk pulled up out of this truck, picked up our transmission tunnel, and I got some of this stuff right here. Got this off of either Amazon or eBay. Pretty cheap sound in there. It's actually the first time I've ever used it. I wanted to give it a shot, try it out, see how it works. Most of the other stuff I've used on any of my other vehicles has been this stuff. And I get that at the local hardware store, Lowe's or Home Depot, and it is, well, it's duct insulation. I'll show you right here. That is what it is. It comes in a roll just like that. This roll is, there we go, 12 inches wide, 1/8 inch thick, 15 feet long. It actually covers quite a bit, and it is fairly inexpensive. Now, this is the last roll I've had. I actually haven't had to buy any for quite some time because I picked up a bunch some years ago, and this is all I have left. But I've seen this stuff used on other vehicles, or other guys out there use it, so I figured I'd give it a shot. And well, we're gonna lay it down on the floor first. Get that all spread out. I've got the tunnel up because I am gonna lay this probably somewhat like this direction against our cross member and stuff. Bring it up to the edge of our steps. Get it up against this cross beam here, and then take a knife and just kind of go around the inside edge of here. And kind of use this stuff as like a gasket for this thing as well. So once I get the parameter done around that, we'll get this guy on there, cut the edge out, use it as kind of a gasket. Once we got all that stuff in place, we'll grab that foam pad right there. You can see I got the carpet and the other insulation pad sprawled out in the yard underneath the rain clouds. So I gotta work quick. It's supposed to be storming here real soon. So go ahead and get you guys in the stand, get you propped up, go ahead and get this stuff laid out, see how it lays, bring you back for the finishing result or the end result of this stuff. Then we'll go ahead and throw the carpet in. Hopefully by that time it's not raining and we can throw that seat in as well. So we get you in the stand and let's get to work. sound deadening is in place, installed, and I gotta tell you, this stuff, even though this is my first time using it, this stuff sticks really, really well to this floor. Like, I know we got the floor pans in, and I top coated it with that rattle can bed liner. I like that stuff, kind of like another little sound deadening material. I just got all the trash out of here, took the air hose, blew all the dust out of it, started going to town, sticking this stuff to the floor, and it does stick pretty good. Especially if you use that little roller I was using. Yeah, I like it. I will probably continue to use it. I did have a lot left over. I wasn't quite sure how much it was going to take to do the floor of this truck, even though it was just one big flat piece. I mean, obviously. But I did buy the bigger box I could buy, and I have plenty of left over, so I'll be using that and some other stuff as well. Maybe find some other areas that we could put that stuff in. But we got this sound deadener down. Everything fits pretty good. Show you guys. Get you up here close. See there? I ran it underneath, cut around, so now it acts kind of like a gasket as well for our tunnel. I was at first trying to keep this stuff from overlapping, but truthfully, even right here you can see it doesn't really change the thickness all that much, especially if you get everything and work it in with the little roller. So I'm no longer afraid of overlapping this material. And if you can hear the difference between the door, definitely muffles that sound quite a bit, so it should be real nice going down the road in this truck. Now I've got this stuff laid in here as well. I've already gone ahead and cut out the little areas where our platforms or our standoffs are for our Escalade seat. Go ahead and get this thing ran up and over our shifter as well. Get this thing in place. Bring that carpet in, get that installed as well so we can bolt up our seats. Now we got brake lights, we got our running lights, but my most important thing is I want to test with this truck is because it hasn't had rear brakes since I've owned it, and we just recently rebuilt it. So I like to get this thing out on the road, make sure our brakes work good, and yeah. So that is the plan. I'm gonna go ahead and finish getting this stuff in, get our carpet installed, get the seat in, and bring you guys right back so we can get this thing out on the road and test out those brakes. Carpet is installed, seat is installed, even had a little extra time to install our new dome light here. I really get a kick out of that thing, but everything's installed. I pulled the trucks out of the shop, got our sidekick Seth with us. The truck is much, much quieter in here with most of the interior. So, but like I said, most important thing is we gotta get this thing on the road. We gotta test those rear brakes. There's also a few other things I need to get for this truck. I need a windshield. I want to replace it because this one's busted, pitted, and it's ugly. We'll get a new window seal for our front windshield because this one's busted, dried, and cracked. Kick panels. I want those because kick panels with the aid of something else, I might be able to block all the air that looks like it's going to be blowing in here from the lower part of our front pillars. Where our hinges are, because those are rusted out. We'll get some firewall grommets for some of those wires we got poking through there, and their turn signal switch, so I can finish hooking up our wiring. But most important thing is I want to get this thing on the road. Let's go for a little test drive. It's about a 45-minute drive, longest trip this truck has had in a very, very long time. Said previous to me, or prior to me owning this truck, I found paperwork in here that suggested 1979. Now I've taken it around the block here a couple of times, but this is its first road trip. So, hand you off to Seth. We'll get some scenery shots as we're traveling up the old interstate there, and well, hopefully everything goes well. If not, we'll bring you back and we'll go over what's happening. So, let's get on the road. Supposed to be on. My switch is in the off position. I got the little wires mixed up, but if you hear, we're in 4th gear. This is supposed to be the torque converter lockup. Torque converter's locked up, but the light goes off, so I'm gonna have to fix that when we get back. But lockup works. That's a good thing. I like it. So far the truck's cruising pretty darn good. Really, my speedometer says about 44, somewhere in there. 1300 RPMs, 173 degrees. Doing good so far. Almost 70 miles an hour. Doing it 1900 RPMs, 2000 RPMs, 182 degrees. Definitely, it's a really cool feeling to have this thing cruising. It almost takes away from the fact it's shaking. So, one thing I'll definitely have to figure out what that little shake is. I can bump the steering and it'll come right out. So I think it might have something to do with maybe tie rods. Maybe the alignment's a little too far or a little off, so something else I have to look at. And I think another thing I'm going to have to work out is hook up a relay or something to the brake pedal. That way if I have to hit the brake in traffic or anything like that, it'll automatically shut the torque or the lockup off, because it reminds you it's on if you're in 4th gear. So other than that, everything's good. Just cruising. All right, we are back at the shop. We made it back in one piece. I gotta say, the old corncob pickup truck did pretty darn good. Now, it was about a 65-mile round trip. I hit speeds of upwards of close to about 75, 80 miles an hour. And you gotta sit back and think, from the paperwork I found, that truck has not seen the interstate or speeds like that since at least 1979. So it's really, really quite exciting to get that truck out in town, up on the interstate, hitting those kind of speeds, and have it do pretty darn good. Now, for the most part, it is a completely stock suspension truck. And I say that because it has the factory springs in it still. We did do a disc brake conversion up front. It has a rear end out of a 2005 and kind of some upgraded brake components like our master, our power brakes, little things like that. It's got new shocks in it. No, the truck did pretty darn good. Now, other than it has a little bit of a front end shake at about 65, 70 miles an hour. That could be because I might have a couple little wore out tie rods. I'll go ahead and double check that, make sure those are good. Maybe balance the tires, because I have not done that yet. And I know if you've seen some of the 20-inch wheels out there, some of these require quite a bit of weight, so that could be that as well. And my gas gauge doesn't work. I'll have to figure that out as well. But other than that, the truck did pretty darn good. In this video, we got our rear brakes built for that 2005 Sierra Classic rear end. Got our brake lights to work with blinkers, so that's cool. And we got sound deadener and carpet in this truck, which made it a little bit more quieter on the inside, because if you don't know, I have 3-inch single chambers under this truck. And without all that stuff, it was pretty obnoxious. But all the sound deadener, the seat, carpet, and all that stuff on the inside did pretty darn good. That little lockup switch I have works for that standalone transmission controller for the 4L80. Still got to change the gears yourself. But other than that, everything did pretty darn good, and I'm excited to get this truck out on the road and do power tour this year with it. All right, there are a couple little more things I need to figure out, but for the most part, we're driving it, and I'm going to continue to drive it as much as I can. We're going to make a little parts truck out of it while I'm here. So, but I got to end this video right here. Got to get cleaned up, got to get myself ready to go back to work for one more hitch before I tackle this thing before power tour. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Give a guy a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Again, you guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all your support. And I'll catch you on the next one.